So, welcome to the first episode of the Ism. This is a docu series that just is looking at real life, like the things that are really happening to us and our experiences as human beings, and just the things that we think about every day, what's happening to us, what we would like to see happen, and it's literally just about everything, like life in general, this experience that we're having. And this is our first episode, so uh, I don't know. We've already been talking about this. Thank you. Well, that was without saying already, but thank you for real for doing this, and
No problem.
I hope you enjoy yourself. So we're just gonna get straight into it. We're gonna try to get an introduction. Can I get you to say your name and your place of birth?
Um, well, my name is Temp. I was born in College Park, Georgia. Yeah. Raised in Riverdale, and so pretty much I've been in Atlanta my whole life.
All right, Tim from Riverdale. So we're here. We're gonna jump right into this thing here, and like I said, it's a list of questions. I'm just gonna be asking them, and I guess like getting an idea of how you feel about it. So what how would you describe life? Like, how would you describe this experience?
I would describe life. I've said this more than once. I would describe life as being like a classroom, and we are all students, and each lesson determines our whether we learn or not, whether we get to the next level, or whether we get stuck in the same place. But life is nothing but a giant classroom. And we're just here to learn.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's dope. Um, so I realize, as you just said, that we're all here to learn. Um, on an individual basis, what do you think you are here to do? What do you think you, as the individual, are here to do? Do you have a calling that you're comfortable with sharing? Do you feel like you have a purpose that you found? What do you think you're here to do?
I think that from my experience, what I've been shown is to teach a lesson in some type of way. I've been told over and over and over again throughout my life that I should be a teacher. And I don't believe that the teacher's only place is in the classroom, even though life is nothing but a classroom. There's teachers in all different aspects of your life, whether it could be the homeless guy down the street, who's saying nothing but the truth, or it could be that person at your job that's having a bad day and just speaks some wisdom and teaches you something in that moment. I think my job here is just to teach. Somebody has a lesson that they need to learn, and that maybe me crossing their paths is teaching them that lesson.
You're contributing to you're contributing to that individual's mission, which
If that's
is everyone's mission.
And now that I look back, everybody that I've ever encountered or talked to or dealt with, there was some lesson that either I taught them, or they taught me, or we taught each other, and we all come away with it.
Right.
Either better or broken, I guess.
It's heavy. It's heavy. Better or broken. So sticking to the theme of the things that you've learned as you went through life, what are some of the things that you can say that being here that you've learned? Not necessarily like just 2 + 2 = 4 or anything like that. Like, just being a part of this experience, like a larger life lesson? What has life, something that life has taught you?
That we all go through our shit, and that we should only hold others to the standards that we hold ourselves to. Everybody has something that they're going through at the end of the day. That everybody goes through things. Everybody's going through something. Jeez, I was just thinking about that today. What's something that I've learned in this thing called life? Sometimes that we look too much outwards and not enough inwards. And it's easier to identify other people's trash because we're looking outwards, so much so that we're not looking at the bags of trash that we're collecting. You know, the way I put it is, some of us clean up the whole room and we leave a little spot. Like, we judge everybody else. We think we cleaned up our whole room, and then we think we're in a position to judge everybody else. But then if somebody just so happened to uncover a spot that we thought that we had handled, I don't know where I'm trying to go with that, but like,
it's a complex.
Yeah, like sometimes we look so much outwards at other people that we don't look enough at our own selves to clean up what we need to clean up. And that lots of people, when we go through this life and we're getting judged, that's exactly what they're doing. I've learned how to deal with judgment better in this life. To understand that whatever you're judging me for is an insecurity that you see in yourself.
It's heavy.
That how could I walk around looking the way I do if I'm secure, and if you look like me, you wouldn't be secure. So that my confidence in looking how I look makes you feel insecure. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've learned that people will judge you, but
it makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah,
that's very true.
That people will judge you, but
you shouldn't really take their judgments personal.
Exactly. Nothing's as personal as what you think it is. And I'm still learning that to this day, that nothing is as personal as I think it is. I don't know. I think I just rambled. I don't know what I just said.
Hey, no, that's good. Like, this is what this is about. Like, rambling. Life is a ramble in a lot of ways. Like, we're just going through rambling, just trying to figure some clarity out. Right. Yeah. It's just a lot of rambling, and nobody really knows. Would you say that out of all of the lessons that you've learned up to this point, would you say that you have any defining moments of your life, like any instances or stories you can share where you're just like, you know what, this is something that really shifted how I looked at things, how I felt about myself, how I felt about this experience, that enlightened me, like that shaped you into who you are? Is there anything that you can say do you have any of those types of moments?
I mean, I guess because I'm still so enmeshed in life that I haven't gotten to be able to sit down and really say this was a life-defining moment, because I'm still so very much, I feel like, in a life-defining moment. Like I'm in a series, like right now I'm in a series of life-defining moments, and that I won't see as that until this chapter is closed. Like I would say that like closing the chapter of my life when I left college was a huge thing for me. My whole identity was wrapped up in school. And I'd say that leaving school gave me somewhat of an identity crisis. And it took me about a couple of years to be able to wrap my head around, okay, that's my, being a
like
student.
This is over.
Yeah, being a student is no longer my identity. And even though I have film, is that really my identity? But because so much of me, I was 25 and, 22 years of me had been invested in school. and then it just ends just very quickly, and I'm just like,
there's no more checking in. There's no more.
And I guess that was
schedules.
Exactly. And I went to school. It took me a while to graduate college. I went 7 years straight. Never took a break. I may have gone part time. I may have dropped down to a point where I was taking maybe 2 classes. But every semester I went until I graduated. And then it was just a huge part of my routine, my schedule, my identity. And then I didn't have school anymore. And then after that, it was I guess the life defining moment was creating who am I going to be without that, you know? Who am I going to be without that? I guess.
That's it.
But I guess I'm still so enmeshed in a bunch of life defining moments that I can't say, oh, this is a life defining moment, because I
you gotta go further to look back.
Yeah.
About what do you think the most important thing that you've learned in your life is, like, up until this point? What would you say that is? Being
yourself. I feel like, and it's a cliche thing to say. Like, everybody's like, oh, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself.
Yeah.
But really, it goes deeper than that. Like, I was judged for being myself, and I was judged for being somebody else. Like, I figured that if people didn't like me for being me, well, then I'd find somebody that people like and I'd be like them. And it was so insanely hard to be like them that I was judged because I came off weird. And at a certain point I said, well, if I'm going to be judged for being you and I'm going to be judged for being me, damn it, I'm going to have a great job being judged for being me. I'm going to be me so damn hard, and I'm going to have such a great time, and I'm going to make sure you guys judge the fuck out of me. And I'm going to do every single thing that I want to do because you're going to judge me regardless. Wow. And I might as well have fucking fun while I do it.
That's deep. So you say, like, you'd rather get judged being you than
and having a damn good time than being judged for being somebody else and having a terrible time. Right. Like, I could be, I'm not saying, when I say you, I don't mean you, but I could be you as a hypothetical individual and have a terrible fucking time.
Someone other than your authentic
being someone other than
self.
Me. Exactly. And being judged and having a terrible time.
Pretend and people please.
Exactly. Or I could be my authentic
just
self.
Be who you are.
Exactly. I'd rather be my authentic, awkward, socially awkward, missing Q self and having a damn good time than feeling so dang policed that next thing you know, I'm 98 years old and I realize, damn, my life was not fun because I was living for a bunch of people who are now likely dead.
People pleasing.
Exactly.
When you just...
If I do what I do and it makes you happy, congratulations. But if it doesn't make you happy, I'm still going to do what I do. You know.
That's it's a very humbling revelation here. Like people try to impose and judge you, and it's just like when you're unbothered, you kind of intimidate people.
You do. When people say, like, when people insult you and you like, you don't give them the reaction that they wanted, it makes them feel weird. It makes them truly think about what they said.
Yeah.
Or when somebody judges you and then finds out finds out that they're wrong. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I am more on the more masculine side of things, and so because of that, people will automatically, like, I'll experience homophobia, and then, like, my nails are painted, so then it's like they're like, wait, what? So it's like they're having to ask themselves, did I just treat this person poorly because of what I thought about them?
Right.
And it makes them kind of think, like, dang, that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and you're making them think because I'm not even doing anything.
I'm not even addressing it. Like, I've had a lot of stuff happen, and then because that person was making an assumption, which their assumption was right. Their assumption was right. You know, I'm definitely queer. That assumption is right. But it's you made that assumption without asking me, and you made it you treated me a certain way, and then you have to be wait. Did I really just do that? Like, it's hard to explain, but it's a look on people's faces when they have to check their own morality.
You get them to check yourself.
I get them to check
themselves. Exactly. That's
I
deep.
get them to check themselves.
That's deep. Like, hey, you gotta examine your own personal
It's like
I'm
people
not
who are
bothering
homophobic.
nobody.
It's like a person, like imagine it, like, because what I'll experience is a person who's homophobic, and like they see me and they're like, oh, you're definitely gay and I know everything about you, and then they treat me poorly as a result, and then find out that their assumptions of me, well, they find out in their own reasoning that their assumption of me was wrong,
right?
And then they have to go back and look at their interaction with me and how they treated me,
right?
You understand?
Yeah.
So it says more about them as an individual than their assumption of who they thought I was. Because in that moment, you became worse than what you thought I was.
Right. You judging somebody that you don't even know.
Exactly.
And that's not. I don't think that's fair to a human to do that to a human
There's gonna be somebody. I just totally explained that wrong. There's gonna be somebody out there who gets mad and like, oh, that's not the right thing to say. But I don't think that, like, it's weird. That's also another thing that I'm learning, is that you don't always have to say the right thing at the right moment. But somebody was meant to hear exactly what you just said. You know, if it comes out,
it's not tailored for everybody.
If it comes out, then that's what's supposed to come out. That's something else I'm learning.
Okay. Yeah. So for all the for all the people listening out there, is there anything you feel like everyone in the whole wide world has to learn before they die, before we leave this earth? Is there anything that you think that you could say, like, I think every human being that has ever existed can benefit from learning this lesson?
I think the universe is acting through us and learning how to be a human.
That's deep.
I think that the whole purpose of life is how to do this thing called being a human. You know,
everyone's just trying to figuring it out.
You know, and what works, you know, best for you in the scheme of getting you to the end. I feel like if you die in your bed, in your sleep, I feel like you've learned whatever lesson that you needed to learn, that you were here to learn. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I feel like at that moment, like, you've learned how to be a human.
You finished.
The universe is like, I've learned what I can from this life. And that you've learned what you needed to learn, and then you go.
So do you think that kind of like, would you say that you feel like that applies to everyone's, like, exiting of this experience? Like, they get to that point of they figure out?
I believe in reincarnation. I believe that if a soul was cut off, you know, that they weren't done learning what life is. I mean, there's evidence of children who have past life recollection died in fires and accidents, and
I've experienced that firsthand.
Gunshot wounds, and like they have a birthmark that matches a gunshot wound that they talked about from a previous life. Yeah. Like, so I believe that if your life was cut off by tragedy or unexpected death, you know, I think that we all kind of...
Then you weren't finished. What about the people that, like you said, go in their sleep? Do you
think about it as a human desire. When we think about our death, overwhelmingly people say, I want to die warm in my bed surrounded by people who love me. You know, like, I think that's a common... Nobody wants a horrific death.
That's so true. I can't think of anybody except like a crazy person
who wants a horrific...
Or somebody that's suffering so much that they would rather have, you know.
But even
they just wanted to, they don't care how
they just want it to happen quickly.
They just want it to end.
They don't want a horrific death. They wanted to get it over with. They want it to be done and over the quickest way as possible.
Nobody wants to go out horrific.
Exactly, and I believe
that's crazy.
So I believe that, like,
that's a bad feeling.
I believe in reincarnation. I believe when that happens, the universe wasn't done learning what it had to do through your eyes.
You gotta come back, bro.
Like, if you look at our eyes, like, our eyes look like many, like, universes and galaxies and stuff. So it's like the universe is experiencing itself through our eyes. Like, we're made up of everything, like, in the universe. Like, like all the molecules of the universe are inside of us.
That's crazy.
And like and I know this sounds weird, but like we're made in God's image, and God is everything, and everything in the universe is within us. I don't know. It's just like, you know, we're made up of everything. We're made up of stardust, literally.
Yeah.
Like the carbon, the molecules of the universe that make up the universe, like carbon and all that stuff, is what makes up the basis of us. So we're the universe experiencing itself. Like even my dog, even my dog might be the universe experience. The universe, like, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to be a dog. And then the universe is experiencing life through a dog, and then through a lizard, and then like through a bug, and then through you. And then once it learns what it needs to learn through that, you're done. And then, you know, your energy is transferred over to something else. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone should learn that you said
how to be a human.
How to be a human. That's what everyone has to learn.
You know, for Cheese, my dog, it's how to be a dog. You know, how
Cheese is just figuring out
how to be the goodest boy that he can.
What he needs to figure out to have a comfortable life for him.
Exactly. He does what he needs to do to relieve his stress, just like the rest of us do. You know, he's still learning how to be the best doggo he can. You know.
It's deep. You have to learn how to be a human. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if let's say that the entire world could hear you, if you could share one message, like right now, the entire universe, the whole world, every person is listening to you, and you could share one message to everybody to try to enhance their life, what would that message be?
I don't know, because I don't know if there's something that I could say that could affect the hearts of everybody in the world, because everybody in the world is going through, we may have similar experiences, but you know, I'm one that I can admit when I don't know, but I don't know if there's anything that I'd probably say, do your best, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's anything that I would want to say.
That's a good message to, if everybody can hear you. Like, it's a good message. Like, just do your best, bro. Like, try your hardest.
Like, nah, because I don't even know what I'd say to the whole world.
Yeah, that's a big question, because it's like a lot of things to consider there. Kind of like what you just said.
Like, I don't think I've seen enough. Let me put it like this: I don't think I've seen enough of the world to say that I have a message for the world. I haven't seen enough of the world.
You have to get out more to have more reference points to tailor what your message would be. Like, you're just here.
Like, I have my message of what I want to say when it comes down to film and art and creativity, and that's just what I want to express at that moment.
Right.
But like, I feel like when I'm gone, I will have said what I have to say to the world. My message will have been said to the world when I leave. But right now, I don't think I've had this culminating experiences enough to say, this is my message to the world. I think that's what I want to leave behind.
Okay.
I want to leave behind a message to the world.
Leave your message for the world.
When it's complete.
To the world.
Exactly. When it's complete. Because I feel like the message isn't given until the story is
preaching
complete.
Right now. I like
think about it. When we ask what's the message of the story, what's the moral of the story, you're not going to find that out until it's over. You know? So I don't think I've lived.
Hey, yo, that's heavy. That's super. That's dope as fuck. Like, that shit is fire as hell how you just put that. You don't know the moral of the story until the story is over. So you really can't say anything to the whole world, because
I don't know.
Your story is still happening.
When I go, I may have a middle finger to the world. You know?
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know. Like, you know, I literally don't know. We'll see. God willing. God willing, I live to the age of, like, I have a desire, some type of desire in me to be the oldest living human being that ever lived.
That's your goal, is to outlive everybody.
If I live to be 175 years old, I would be like, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
you would probably have
like
nothing
the type,
to say.
the type, like,
man, I said everything.
Nah, I'd probably be like, just think about that. Imagine if somebody was walking around, say, 175 years old. Just imagine the level of just like, like you were there for all of this. You were. Imagine if their memory was still intact, and they could remember at least 150 years. There's nothing that, like, a history book, they could call bullshit, because that's what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
I want to live 200 years so that this time right now, with everything that's going on, when they put in the history books, I can yell out bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to get old just so that when they talk about Black Lives Matters, if it's not correct, I can say bullshit.
Nah, that wasn't even happening. I was in school.
I feel like, what's the point of living through this time of history if you can't live long enough to tell? To be able to be like my grandfather was a Vietnam vet. He lived through like segregate, like the shit that I learned about in the book, like segregation. Like my grandfather, and my grandparents were children.
How do you think it will be when it ends? Now, not necessarily about, I know you said you believe in reincarnation. Now, what I mean by this question is, what do you think that you will see or feel or when it ends?
You know, I've thought about that. I've thought, what if we die in this life and we just pick up somewhere else in another dimension, like spiritually,
like the multiverse.
Like we go, because they're talking about multiverses, and there's another multiverse. What if we've died already, and we just kind of check back into another universe where we're still alive?
Yeah.
You know,
like as ourselves.
Like as ourselves, like we just pick up in the next spot. Like it's like, oh, you failed that one, respawn here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what if we're just constantly respawning? Like what if that night that you got so fucked up and that you thought you died of alcohol poisoning, what if you actually died and you just woke up in another universe? Yeah. The universe
bailed you out in a sense, and
honestly,
it just continues
to
keep
going.
I'm
not saying that I want to die, because I'm not saying that, but I just know it doesn't end. I just know too much about my experiences here to know that there's too much of a spiritual world. There's too much of the unknown for me to believe that there's
too much we're feeling.
There's too much that I've seen. There's too much that I know. There's too much that I've experienced to think that, it just ends. I'd be mad. Like there was a show called American Gods, and the girlfriend pretty much after she died, she failed to exist because she didn't believe in anything. And I'd be so terrified to find out, when I died, the leader, the ruler of the crossroads is like, you didn't believe in anything, so you're not going to exist. I mean, I could have sent you to Lilyland where you got to run south. If you believe, I feel like that dream world never ends. And I feel like what those last thoughts are in your head is where you get stuck. If you didn't have a belief that anything happened and you died, you wake up and said, if you had to believe that when you die you go to a fields of sunflowers, I could have done that. But you didn't believe shit, so I have nothing in your consciousness to work for.
Tim, this is a really deep concept we're getting into here, because what you just said I think that is what biblically, in the Bible, I think that's what the idea that they were capturing about, when they say, God said, if you believe in me, you'll have eternal life.
Exactly. And I am definitely a believer in salvation, because I feel like it's weird that
I think that's what they were talking about. Your belief in this present moment will be indicative of what happens when it's over.
And
so you say, if you don't believe while you're here now, when it's over, it's no, we don't have nothing for you. You didn't think it was, you didn't feel like it was there. You didn't believe that it was there.
That's if you're drowning and somebody throws you a lifeboat and you're like, I don't want that lifeboat. How are you gonna get mad when you drown?
Right.
You can't and that's just me. You got people who don't. I just have my own beliefs, but I definitely believe in salvation. Those are my personal beliefs, and it's not up for like debate or argument or stuff like that, because I just feel like if you can't tell me what's at the bottom of the ocean, if you can't tell me about the parts of the ocean that we've yet explored, you can't tell me that there's not a God. And I don't want to hear that something really bad happened to you and that's why you don't believe in God, because like that basketball, if you tell me that telling me that there's no God is like telling me that this made itself.
Right.
If this takes somebody, if this simple structure right here, this simple plastic bottle takes a bunch of machinery and different chemicals to make this one bottle, and one person has to think of this bottle doesn't have any organs, doesn't have any veins, doesn't have a brain, does not have any complex circulatory systems, and it took all this shit to make this bottle and the contents in it, and this bottle didn't make itself. You can't tell me that we made ourselves, and that the grass that I walked in made itself, and that the universe, the earth that I live in made itself, and that the balance of gravity or whatever the fuck is holding all this shit up just made itself.
Right.
You can't tell me that all that just made itself if you cannot look me in my face and tell me that this made itself.
Right.
So
anything that's
here
has something
creator
behind it, like
exactly. Wow. Everything here has something that created it. So if you can point to me at an object in this room that just created itself by accident, or by something exploding at each other, and then boom, you have a couch.
Yeah.
It's not up for debate.
Yeah.
If you can't tell me that, so that's why
that's too far of a stretch when people say that.
Yeah, it's
just like, nah, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Because if you can't point to me a ball that just made itself with no complex circulatory system, if you can't tell me what's
you're saying, like,
if you don't know,
look at God as the creator.
I look at God as the supreme creator. Like if you look at me,
that's deep.
If you can look at me and tell me that you don't know what's in the unexplored parts of the ocean, you do not have the credentials to tell me that there's not a God.
Right.
You don't even know everything that's here. You can't even tell me what. If you can't look from outside of my neighbor's house and tell me what's in their house, if you can't even do that, you don't have the credentials to tell me that there's not a God.
Right. How do you know? And you ain't even been off the planet.
Exactly.
Like,
this
thing goes way further than what y'all even.
Exactly. If you can't tell me right now what's going on in my neighbor's house right now, because you don't have the powers to do that, and you can't tell me what's in the unexplored parts of the ocean, or you can't tell me what the fuck is going on in the Bermuda Triangle. I'm not gonna look. You don't have any merit. You don't have any merit to tell me that there's no God, because you can't even tell me. You can't even point to me something that you can't even point to me something that created itself.
Yeah, that light just came on, and I think that was divine timing.
I wasn't gonna say that.
Yeah,
but
that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
light bulb cut on, ding ding ding. That's exactly. Yeah, see.
Literally, shout out to the big homie.
Yeah, like I believe, I'll just be sitting here looking at stuff and the way things work, and people I think with Westernism, science, we try to remove science and God, and I'm like, what if us understanding science is just like us seeing how God got this done?
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is. It's an observation of the process behind things.
Like you can't tell me that there's just a giant ball. You can't tell me that there's just a giant ball of fire floating, and that fireball thousands of miles away gives us enough sustenance to do everything we fucking do. And there's no, excuse me for that language, that F-bomb, but you cannot tell me or convince me that that's just there because of chance.
Yeah,
make a ball in front of me.
It's just happening.
Make a ball appear in front of me out of nothing, and it's not going to happen. Everything has a creator. Right. Everything in this space has a creator. Everything. Even the trees outside, they come from little baby trees and acorns and the pollen and all that. All of it is a system that is so divinely created to exist on its own. I play The Sims, okay? The Sims had me really even that, I'm just this is all, our life is just a system that works and sustains itself.
you feel like do you feel like, you know, nothing happens if someone doesn't do it?
What do you mean?
Like, so just to the point of like the existence in being created. Like, I feel like nothing, like, if nobody
nothing happens if nobody acts on it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, if I just
and
leave
I think that's behind the entire all of this. Like, nothing is going to happen if nobody does it
and
first.
God, and like when you think about that statement, like in the beginning, God said, "Let there be light."
Right, He did it.
Somebody did something.
He did it.
Somebody did something.
That's crazy.
You know.
That's crazy. So, you said you believe that in the end it's determined by what you believe in now.
And what you like, you gotta think about it. Like when you do like your actions are vindicative of what's going on in your inside. And if you're doing evil, terrible things on the outside, just imagine what's sitting on you in the inside.
What your heart.
And so all our body is nothing but like a meat vessel.
Man,
it's nothing but a meat vessel. And so our brain and our heart and our minds, our soul is what's driving what we do. So when we're released from this meat vessel, all of that stuff that we were is just now out. And so
we're back to just being the soul.
And so if you were pained and suffering and evil here, when your soul gets released from its vessel, why do you think it's going to be at peace outside of the vessel? Somebody definitely had to design this.
Yeah, there's an intelligence.
There's no way that all of this just kind of happened. There's no way that anybody can tell me that there's not a creator to create.
This is why I'm doing this show.
We do so much.
I'm doing
we
this.
do so much to create what we have. So much goes into creating a TV. So much goes into creating a refrigerator. So much goes into creating a car. Would you not say that the human body is more complex than a TV or a refrigerator or a car? Would you not say that that the earth is more complex than a human body? With all the ecosystems and the weather and the wind and all the things that make the world it is so complex. Would you not say that the universe is more complex than the earth? And so if the TV or the refrigerator or the washing machine or the car all had a creator just to create those things that we use, we're more complex than that. And there's something that we live in that's more complex than us. And there's something that encapsulates what we live in that's more complex than what we live in.
Yo, that's crazy.
And so to say that all of that doesn't have a creator is like saying that TV doesn't have a creator, or that refrigerator doesn't have a creator, or that washing machine or car doesn't have a creator. If you said that to a logical thinking person, they think you were crazy. But then I say that to a logical thinking person, and they're like, oh, that's crazy. But then when I say there's no God, they say, oh, I agree with that. You know, it's so weird to me. Like, that's why my belief in God and salvation is not like up for debate, like, at all.
Yeah. Like, people, I feel like what you just said just has me thinking like this, and it's like, people are arrogant to think that, like, we can design, as people, we can design these super complex things, and that there isn't something more intelligent than us that can design something way more like, unfathomably complex. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a very arrogant place to be in the world, to feel that, like,
and then
there's nothing smarter than you.
From what ancient and religious texts tell me is that whenever humans start to think that there's something that happens, there's always a hubris. And then there's something that happens that reminds humans that look, y'all do not have as much power. We do not have as much power. Like COVID should have shown us
that's literally what popped to my head with
that
coronavirus.
nature can come and sweep up and give us a pandemic that we have no control over, that can wipe out all of us
and clean this shit out
at any moment that she chooses.
Whew.
So
shit, y'all hear that?
So like when I hear people saying, "Oh, we're the ones in control," I'm like, says that from your comfort, because those people who ain't living in comfort, they know. They know that at any moment their life can be upturned by some illness or something that you have no control over. So it's like we get this hubris and we're like, there is no God, and then Mother Nature is like, there's me though.
Yeah.
There's me though.
Yeah.
Let me send you guys a pandemic.
Yeah, what you gonna do about
and
me?
And it's like I've been created. Mother Nature has been created. Mother Nature is encapsulated in the universe, in the earth. Yeah. And we're not even control over you, Mother Nature.
Yeah, we can.
And she's within the earth. And would you not say that the universe is more complex than Mother Nature?
Hey, you getting deep here.
And so, like, we're not even in control of Mother Nature. So it's like...
Hey, what about the other stuff beyond this that we're not in control of?
That we're not in control
of. The movement of the fucking planets moving.
Exactly.
Asteroids and shit out in outer space.
Like an asteroid could come and knock us the fuck off right now. I'm like, and we're sitting here thinking that we're like these all-powerful people because we got electricity.
That goes back to my point, like, it's in motion. Like, nothing's gonna move unless someone puts it in motion. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, all this shit is moving. Like, it has to be someone that made the first push. You know what I'm saying? To put these things in motion.
And I think that's the supreme creator. I think that's the creator. You understand? Like, I think that, like,
that's who it is.
It's not something that I think, it's something that I know. Like if light bulbs have a creator and I'm more advanced than the light bulb, I know that I have a creator. If the earth is more advanced than me, I know the earth has a creator. If the universe in all its ways is more advanced than the earth and me and the light bulb, then I definitely know that all of this has a creator. And if you look at me and you tell me that there's not a creator, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because I know that you think that the ball created itself.
Yeah, those people, like, they're too arrogant to really, like, look at someone, or, like, I can't explain it, but it's just like, that's really arrogant to just even have that thought. Like,
because then I feel like
this is nothing and it's just here, or it's not real. About us having a creator behind us. What, if any, supernatural experiences have you had, like, in your life or recently, that you are comfortable with sharing?
My whole life has been just like a supernatural experience. Just like, I can't say just one thing. It's almost like also a knowing. Like, I can say a constant thing is just like knowing. Like, just a deep sense of knowing. Like,
yes.
Like being tapped into a source that's just constantly giving me, I would say, like just constantly giving me the information that I need to escape arrows throughout a day-to-day basis.
Wow.
Like times that I've been entrapped and things of that nature. Just a knowing, you know, like, or like with supernatural experience, like, I guess it's not for me to say right now because there's so many and it's not coming to mind. But they're like my life. I can't, like, my whole life has just been like a whole
life is a supernatural experience in a sense. Like, it's like just being here. Yeah. Like, just sitting here right now. This is like, fucking supernatural. Like what we call, like, going on right now?
What really is supernatural? Like, because you have natural, you have nature, you have natural, and then supernatural is like super, which is superior, and then natural, which is like superior towards the natural that we see here. It's almost like
active.
It's the real natural, the natural that we can't see with our eyes, but it's ever persistent more than
it's
we are.
real too.
It's more natural than nature. So it's like supernatural is more natural than nature.
Shit.
Like nature is the physical manifestation of the supernatural.
It's the physical manifestation of the. I see what you mean. Like the unseen.
Like human nature
It's a representation.
Human nature
of
is
the
a
unseen.
human nature is a manifestation of spiritual
Of
supernatural.
the things that are happening.
Of the spiritual supernatural. Like human nature is like supernature. It's like human. It's like spiritual supernature, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like everything that happens in the spiritual has like its manifestations within human nature.
Wow.
So it's like supernatural and human nature, and I think all of it's like one in one.
Okay. So, what experience would you say has changed you the most? Is there a single experience that you could say, something in your life that you can look back on and say, you know, this is something that really made me into the person that I am today? Or profoundly just affected you, not necessarily changed you, something that you won't forget?
I would have to say I think the most life-altering, life-defining moments were probably in college. I stayed in college a little bit too long, but it was so much of my life happened in that period. So much, I learned so much about myself and about a part of the world, because college most certainly is not the real world. It's not the real world. It is a form of a world within the world, and the people that I came across, the experiences that I had, I don't think that the person I am today, without that, it taught me how to achieve a goal, how to see something through to the end, no matter how hard it is. You know, no matter how long it takes, not to give up, not to quit. You know, any other time I probably would have had something deeper than that, but that's the only one that I can really say a life-altering moment, because I don't think that had I not spent that, I don't know if I had if I had done things differently, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met the people that I've met in my life now. It's just like pretty much my whole life is, I can't sit and say one moment has been a defining moment, because I really don't think I'm not going to be able to say what's been a life-defining moment until I'm like in my 50s, my 60s, until I'm like, okay, and I'm looking back, like, I don't feel like I'm old enough to have, like, said, oh, this is a life-defining moment.
Yeah. You said that before about, like, I want to say, the question with, is there something that you would say though?
What the message that I need to get out to the world before I go, and I'm like, well, that message will be clear when I go.
Yeah. That's the point. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Like you were saying that before. Like I can't really say now because I got so much more to go.
Yeah, like I feel like there's been so much stuff happening in my life in my 20s that I can't, like, I think my 20s, when I'm out of my 20s, I'll say my 20s were a life-defining moment, you know, but I feel like I'm still very much in the midst of a life-defining moment. Like,
yeah. Okay. So that's consistent. Like,
yeah, I'm in the midst of one. Like saying college just felt so weird and cliche, but it was one of the life-defining moments, but it's not. It's like, because in that situation, the jobs that I was able to get, just everything, I can't even say, I feel like just everything is a life-defining.
That's true.
Moment.
Like every decision, like every decision.
I feel like the job I'm at
leads you to the next one.
The job I'm at now is a life-defining moment.
Everything is a life-defining moment. Every moment is a life-defining moment.
Except for when you're sitting down doing nothing. You know, all your connections, everybody you meet in some shape or way, shape or form, it just changes something. It's like adds a little new puzzle piece to your life. Every new interaction is a new string.
That's beautiful.
Just adds.
that's beautiful. Um, this is more so a question about people. Um, yeah, like a question about people and how you view people. How important is connecting with with each other? How important would you say that it's important that we connect with one another?
I mean,
How important do you think that is?
I think it's important, but I think what's more important than connecting with people is connecting with the right people, the people that fit with you. Because I mean, connecting with the wrong people, just anybody can really fuck you up. And I feel like we're social beings. And when we're not connected with other people, we start becoming delusional. We lose connect with the world around us. And we don't know how to operate with people around us because we don't have that connection.
Mm.
And so, but it's very important. Not everybody do you have to get connected with.
Yeah.
So we always say, oh, get connected with this person and this person. And I'm like, some people, they're just not right for your aura. They're not right for your being. But finding those people and connecting with the people that are the right people for you is extremely important.
Appreciate that. That's some uh, important insight that we have to be mindful who we connect to.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is going to contribute to making this experience that we're having easier or better.
Exactly.
Not everybody's going to do that for you.
Exactly.
So you got to be mindful of that. I appreciate you sharing that. So, I know you just recently said that, it's hard to give a take on your experience up until this point because you still have so much more to go. Like you're not finished, which I definitely understand that. Like it's always
Something else.
more to do, right? But I just still would like to stimulate thought here. Has your experience, like your life as you've been here to this point, has it gotten easier as you've gone, the more you've gone through it?
I mean, no, my life has never been easy. It's never been ideal. It's never been, my life is always just a different level of hard. It's just that I've gotten used to certain things. I've gotten used to knowing that, okay, life is not going to be, life is going to be life. Life is going to be what you make it, but my life definitely, I can't say as I've gotten older, it's gotten easier. It's just I've learned to deal with things differently to make things easier on myself. I still deal with hard things. I'm going through things currently that I've never had to, and it may sound like minute on one level, like in the major scheme of everything going on in the world and all the other aspects of my life. I'm having to fight for myself in ways that I've never had to fight for myself. That years ago, I would have just let roll off my shoulder. I'm now starting to fight, and things are getting a little bit better because I'm fighting, and I'm just like it hasn't gotten easier. I deal with things differently.
Hasn't gotten easier. You just gotten stronger.
I've gotten stronger because I don't know,
the experience itself isn't. Would you say the life is not changing? The experience isn't changing. It's just the way that you interact and deal with it.
I'm learning the lessons that I need to learn to get me to the next step.
That's right.
Instead of fighting against the tide, I'm going with it, and I'm not struggling as much as holding on to the tide or fighting the tide. I would struggle. So life doesn't get easier. I mean, it can get better. There's still going to be hardships. Somebody's life may be just an easy breeze, just everything, but it's never been me.
It's real. That's real. And that's a bar. So we're gonna switch to another topic of life, something that I think is very important to think about, on the daily and to have discussions about. How do you think we as people, how do you think we should view death and dying? How do you think we should view death?
I think death is such a personal thing that I don't feel like I have the right to say how we as people should view death, because for some people death is absolutely terrifying. The only thing I can say is that from the moment that we're born, the only thing promised to us is that we're going to die. That's literally the only thing that is promised to anybody walking around. Anything on this earth, the only guarantee for everything on this earth is that you're going to be born and you're going to die.
That's it.
You know, and I think that fearing the inevitable, I think the fear of how and when is more scary than the thought of death. And I don't think that death is final. I think that everybody has an immortal energy in themselves, and whatever your immortal energy was feeling while it was trapped inside this vessel is going to be exactly what it feels when it's released.
Ooh.
And so take care of that energy within your internal vessel. But
right.
You know, I can't say how the next person should view death, because me personally, I can only say how I view it. I view it as, okay, what do I want it to happen anytime soon? No, but it's gonna happen. It's good. There's no point of me walking around in my life afraid of death, but it's more so the fear of not knowing how it's gonna happen or when it's gonna happen.
Fear of not knowing what it actually is.
Exactly.
That scares you.
Exactly. But then I'm like, what if I die and then open back up my eyes and I'm a whole baby again and I was scared in that previous life for nothing?
That's interesting that you say that. It's gonna be a connection a little bit later, I think. So you said you can't really say how everyone should view it, but you personally, you know that it's gonna come. You don't really want it to happen now or soon, and it makes you a little nervous thinking about it because you don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's human.
Yeah.
It's heavy. So, what is something that you have observed about people in specific, that can be considered a hindrance or a disturbance to achieving and improving quality of life? What is something that you observe, that you see in people, or you see people do, or that you observe yourself doing, maybe, that you would say, like, this is causing you not to be able to enjoy your life, or this is making your life harder, or this is stopping you from, getting better or growing or enjoying your life more?
It would be a two. It's kind of saying one and the same, but it's minding other people's business, minding the business that doesn't pay you, and lack of self-introspection. Because as long as you're paying attention to somebody else's stuff, you're not paying attention to what you got going on. And as long as you're paying attention to somebody else's situation, you're never going to focus enough on your own to fix your own shit. So it's like, I can't be worried about what the next woman got going on, because who's going to worry about my stuff? If I'm worried about your stuff, who's going to be worried about my stuff? So it's like, if I'm worried about your stuff, I'm not worried about the heap of shit that I got to deal with. So my life is really not going to get better. Your life is going to get better because you're not worried about my shit. You worried about your shit. And I'm worried about your shit. You're not paying me to do it. So you really got to just worry about your own shit. It's not saying don't think about other people in the process, but you can't be so worried about somebody else's shit that you're neglecting your shit.
Worry about yourself more than you do about anybody.
I'm not saying worry I'm saying it not in like a selfish way. I'm saying like celebrity gossip. Some people worry so much about what celebrities got going on, and like them people got millions and you don't. Yeah. So like they got millions. They got millions because they're paying. They're worried that they're minding the business that pays them, and you're minding their business, and so you're paying them as well. But nobody's minding your business, and you're not even doing it. So your shit's just falling apart. So mind your own, and you'll be good.
Yeah,
mind your own business. You can be there for people But don't get to the point to where you're so enmeshed that you forget your shit. Because nobody's going to help you clean up your shit.
Nobody's going to help you clean up your shit. So focus more. So you feel like that's what causes a lot of people that you see that are struggling or having a harder time than they probably could be having.
There's something in their life that they're not paying attention to that they should probably be paying attention to.
Focusing more on in themselves or in their life than what somebody else is doing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's deep.
Definitely.
I like that. I like that answer a lot.
Definitely, bro. I mean, it's real. It's real. It's fucking real. It's like, I don't know. It's just like, you know, you can't get nowhere in life if you worried about the next man. To a certain extent. Like, don't worry about nobody else's drama but your own to a certain extent.
Okay.
And make sure you very particular about who shit you worried about.
Perfectly. When you think of like the word priorities, in regards to just this whole experience, what comes to mind?
Priorities? Priorities are the things that you need to take care of to get your life, to keep your life where it is. And if you're not worried about your priorities, if you don't know how to prioritize, your shit's always going to be fucked up. Your shit's always going to be fucked up if you don't know how to prioritize. And I'm learning that seriously, like what's priority, what's a want, what's a need, because that's really fucking important.
Yeah.
Because it's
that distinction is so important.
It's so
important. You'll get lost in your wants.
Exactly.
Chasing your wants, you will get lost in
your wants. It's one thing. Like people have everything. Some people have everything they need and nothing they want, but some people have everything they want and nothing they need. And it's so fucked up because your life gets so stagnant.
Yeah.
Your life gets so stagnant when you have everything that you want, but you don't have anything you need.
Yeah. Like rich people, that happens to. It seems like that would happen to.
You got rich people who out here who they got everything that they want, but they ain't got happiness and love, and they just fucking miserable.
A nigga ain't hugged them in years.
And nigga, they ain't had no hug in years, and people steal from them all the time. So they just like, what the fuck?
Like, man, I got all these nice cars and stuff.
Yeah, and I ain't got shit.
And I just really be wanting just a
I just want a hug, bro. I just want a hug.
Just hug me. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Just a hug. So, what are some of your priorities, if you don't mind sharing?
My priorities right now is just getting myself to a point in life where I can breathe and and not comfortable, but like where I'm at, I'm like, okay, I can work with this. I'm really like kind of right now getting it out the mud, and like I'm just like I'm really getting it out the mud right now.
I feel it though.
I'm really getting it out the mud. So it's like
you starting from scratch.
Yeah. So everything right now.
Me too.
Me getting what I need. Like even to the point to like my loyalties have changed. My ideas of what's really going on out here has changed. Cause it's like now I'm like, okay, like I'm really out here. And luckily I'm in this place where I do feel safe. So I do feel like once I get my brain, like in a couple more weeks, I'm really gonna be able to open up my brain. You know, I'm really gonna be able to open up my brain.
The magic's gonna start happening.
Yeah. I just have to get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm at least a little safe.
Okay. So your priorities are making your life, basically.
Yeah, I'm building my life right now, really brick by brick.
It's a good priority.
So the bricks are the priority.
It's whatever bricks I need,
if it's a job or transportation or any of those things that I just kind of need, I'm really building my life. Like my life kind of crashed and burned. It was like an airplane. And it was kind of just like falling and crashing and burning. And then I hit the ground. So now I'm just like, okay, I'm on the ground. Let me at least build something sturdy right now. For some people, it's like it started a while ago, but not everybody has the same past or the same pathway. So everybody is different. Some people have to start over at 45, all over again. I'd rather start over at freaking 28 than have to start over at 50.
Yeah.
Or 56, bro, I promise you. It's crazy. I want some fucking sushi so bad, bro. Like, I want some sushi so bad. Like, I don't know. Yeah, bro.
Would you say that's a very strong feeling that you're having right now?
That I want sushi?
Yeah.
Yes, bro. It is a very...
Well, this is a perfect segue into our next question. How important are our feelings? How important are feelings?
Our feelings are extremely important. It's important to understand and be in tune with your feelings, but understand that your feelings are not who you are. But if you don't understand how you feel, you're not going to understand how you work. You have to understand how you work. You have to understand how you feel to really know yourself, you know. For real, for real.
All right, we're getting close to the end here. I'm really liking this segment so far. I'm getting excited. So with this experience, this life experience, all the things that have happened that we're going through, that you've seen, that you've done, what is your favorite part about life? Is there a favorite part that you have about this experience?
The hope for the future. Hope for the future is really my is really what excites me the most, because I never know what the future holds. So it's like no matter how I feel, I'm like, okay, at least if I'm here now and I wake up tomorrow, there's a whole infinite amount of possibilities. That all it takes is me taking one step, one chance, taking out on faith, and it changes. It can change. One decision can change your entire life. And that hope, that not knowing, is just like what gets me addicted to, like, I don't know. It used to scare me, but now I'm like, there's so many possibilities like that.
You like that feeling?
Yeah, like an unpredictable sim game, but I'm the sim, you know. And sometimes I forget my task as well, like Sims, but I'm a whole sim out here, bro. Shit's real.
That's real.
We're all just Sims, bro.
We're all just Sims, and we don't know what we're gonna do next.
Yep.
And
there's
it's a free range.
Yeah.
We can go anywhere, do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So your favorite part is the anticipation of
what's
more.
Next?
It's heavy. So we got 2 more questions left. So I know you haven't died yet, obviously, or to my knowledge. Would you do it all again? Like once you get through your life, would you say that?
I don't feel comfortable asking that now, because I haven't felt like I haven't. People say that I would do it all again once they've reached a certain point in life, and I don't think I've reached that point in life to where I'd say whether or not I'd do it all again. People say that typically when they've reached some final end goal, after a triumph over a tribulation, they get to that point. Yeah, ask me at like 72 would I do it all again, but asking me at 28 would I do it all over again, I'm like, well, what have I done? I'm still very much in the process of doing it.
Oh, you got a lot of life to live.
Yeah, so I can't say whether or not I do it all over again, because I'm like, what have I done that'd be worth doing it all over again?
Yeah.
Like, would I go to college all over again? I would, but then at the same time, I would have done it a little bit differently. But so many people that I've met in my life, including you right now, I met because I went to college the way that I went to college. So things happen the way that they happen, but I'm not at the point yet to where I can say, oh, I do it all the same way, because, you know, I haven't gotten there.
You got a lot more to, you feel like you have a lot more experience and knowledge to gain before you can reflect on your life in order to properly answer that question.
Yeah, I have a little bit more living to do.
I feel you. Okay. And to wrap this all up, one of the most important questions, I know I mentioned this already off camera. One of the most important questions, I think, for any of us to ask each other and to ask ourselves, what makes you laugh?
Dumb shit. Dumb shit makes me laugh. Comedic stuff. Like just comedy. What makes me laugh is funny shit. Like I fucking love George. I love Key and Peele show. I will watch that all day on YouTube. I love Megan and her boyfriend. I love that. I love that character. I love Rick and Morty. I just love funny kind of 13. If a 13-year-old boy would find it funny, I would likely find it funny. I have the humor of a 13-year-old boy. So yeah, like I can be a very lighthearted. Sometimes I can be really serious, but like if I'm just around my family or people that I'm just truly, truly comfortable with, man, I just turn into this goofball full of like, I'll ask you the most random questions. Like I'll come up to you and be like, yo, do you know if you add 2 + 2 it'll equal 4? Or like if you turn on the faucet, water might come out if you paid your bill. Like I like just dumb random shit. Like random shit makes me laugh. I'm a very random kind of spontaneous person when I get to a certain point. Dumb shit.
Dumb shit makes you laugh.
Yes.
Well, this has been a journey. It's been several weeks in the making, several shots, several pauses on the camera. But it's been real, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Excellent. What the fuck?
I guess we got another moth in there.
Homicide. Double.
I've been watching that shit, man. I was just like, bro, they are terrible.
That is terrible. Man, they
Oh
ain't
my
have
God,
to say that. Nah, man,
damn.
but
Double homicide.
double. She ain't have to say that shit. Boy,
Oh my
I tell
gosh,
you.
people are just
Terrible.
Damn.
But see, here's the thing, right? That's the thing. That's people. Like all of us have that moment where we say the wrong shit. We supposed to be thinking it. I feel like cancel culture robs people of the beauty of fucking up and being human.
Mm-hmm.
Like those fuck up moments are like should be like a unifying moment. Like it make everybody feel more relatable.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Like you see that this person.
Like I want to see Beyonce fart. Like she's just so damn perfect to me.
You know, that's actually really interesting. And
like, or at least burp or something like that.
That makes people relatable. Like it humanizes them.
Or at least burp or something that tells me that you are not, that you are a human. You are a demigod, but you are a human.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like when we put people up on that pedestal, it's like there are people who really probably think that Beyonce does not have gas that needs to get passed.
Yeah.
You know, upwards or downwards. I don't know, yeah, but like
she smells like cinnamon rolls when she poops and stuff like that. You probably think like, oh yeah, no, she doesn't poop. She has a person for that.
Exactly, like who poops for Beyonce?
Like, what are you talking about?
Who poops for Beyonce and where do you apply? Like, you know. But nah, like I feel like when we rob each other of like those abilities to be human, like it fucking sucks. Like life becomes so, like life is already hard enough as it is. But if I have to manage like everything that I do and say at every moment because some person who really doesn't give a fuck about me would think, oh my God.
That's even more of a living
It's
hell.
like I can't give a fuck about me and you at the same time in that way.
That's too much to care about.
I can't.
Sorry.
I can't. One of us got to go and it's going to be me. You know? Like, it ain't even a heart. It's going to be alright.
Like, look, if I gotta pick who I'm gonna care about, it ain't gonna be you. I'm sorry.
People don't like when you don't value their opinion of you. Like, they don't like it. When somebody gives me an opinion of me, I'm like,
yeah, I don't care.
Oh, okay. And when I don't care or I don't get offended or I just, because I'm like, or if I tell them, like, I'll tell people I don't value your opinion. I'll say it exactly like that. And then they're like, you don't value my insult of you?
Yeah.
No.
I
don't know.
I don't put any merit on that.
Like at the end of the day, bro, we all gonna die, bro. We all gonna go about this thing.
That's another interesting topic. I think we'll get into
we
that
gonna all
later.
go about this thing, bro.
So Sarah one message.
You know, and then it's like
that's crazy.
Whenever it's like I can understand people having incidences in life where things just turn to shit or where their life just gets upturned, but at the end of the day, like life is filled with people who make. You're passing gas now. My dog is passing gas. I gotta put him down. I just heard like 2 hits.
All right, so Cheese is human.
Yeah, but he
still not sure about Beyonce.
Beyonce, my dog farts. Beyonce, do you? I don't know. You're a little bit too perfect for me. You know.
Cheese is more human than Beyonce.
I'm not gonna say Cheese is more human than Beyonce, but I'm just saying, like, I don't see any flaws in Beyonce. Like, that is one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. She is something else. Like she's. When have you seen Beyonce like make a flaw? Like does she fart? Does she sleep or does she just charge overnight?
Yeah, like I don't even ever see her like have like a booger in her nose.
Does she have boogers? Has Beyonce ever had a booger?
She probably got a